Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
RJR engineer shot in Kingston remains in hospital. Bogue Industrial Estate in St. James under the microscope again. And later in sports, opening day of the 2025 Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs underway at the National Stadium.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Up first this afternoon, an employee of the RJRGleaner Communications Group is recovering in hospital after he was shot and injured this morning at the intersection of Seashore Boulevard and Mike and Manley Boulevard. The suspect is in custody. Now, preliminary reports are that sometime before 9, the suspect, who suffers from seizures, ran from his house into the community. His father, a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF, elicited the assistance of the RJRGleaner employee to locate the son. But after picking up the suspect, the man was able to disarm the employee of his licensed firearm and open fire. The employee was shot in the neck and shoulder. He was rushed to hospital and underwent surgery. A man was fatally shot by police in Kingsland, Manchester early this morning. The deceased has been identified as 26-year-old Orlando Clive Wade, a local farmer. According to reports, about 3 this morning, Mr. Wade was shot at his residence during a police operation. A firearm was also seized. The police have yet to provide details on the operation. Now, the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, is probing the incident. Bogue Industrial Estate in St. James is once again in the spotlight. This after Peter Bunting offered to transfer ownership of the land free of cost to the people currently residing there should they form the next government. Details in this report.
For several years, persons have been occupying lands at the Bogue Industrial Estate, which is owned by the St. James Municipal Corporation. While they continue to pay rent, they've been in negotiations with the corporation, which has agreed to sell them the land. But at a PNP meeting last month, Peter Bunting promised that if the opposition becomes government, it would bypass the corporation and grant land ownership directly to the business owners.
Talk about coming and selling them the lot at market price. That is not justice. That is not justice. That is exploitation, because it's your investment that has increased the value of what used to be called a swamp. What I can confidently commit is that when time comes, this will be a priority for the parliamentarians in St. James, the parliamentarians not just from West Central, but from St. James. It will be a priority for the government, and it will be a priority for Prime Minister Mark Bogue.
JLP Senator Charles Sinclair has concerns.
Well, I would want to see it done, because you know what? It would run contrary to the Commission of Inquiry report. It would run contrary to the Integrity Commission's report. It would run contrary to the interests and benefit of the people of St. James, because they would be losing their value.
Mr. Sinclair further argued that the people on the land can do more than pay for the property, and they need to do so.
So it's not poor people we're talking about Rolls-Royce capturers. Persons, Mr. Chairman, Rolls-Royce like Bentley, people with money and deep pocket.
Oh, okay, I get you.
And when you look, Mr. Chairman, and what some of those Rolls-Royce capturers have done, they have built 3-story plaza. They have built significant structures out there.
Meanwhile, one of the councillors who also has interest in the land was asked to leave the room during the discussion. Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
Hoteliers and business leaders in Negril have expressed concern over the resort town's deteriorating condition, describing it as filthy. The town, spanning both Westmoreland and Hanover, has raised alarm among locals about its ongoing decline.
The resort town continues to be a preferred spot for tourists, but hoteliers are concerned about its aesthetics and the general condition of the town. They believe the problem stems from enforcement.
Seeing where things are not in compliance with regulation, give warning, yes, ticket after. People must pay. Either you learn or you pay, right? Stop begging, start pleading. Action time now.
There's blame both ways to go around. Yes, the NWSMA can be more efficient and need some assistance there, or need to improve. However, some of the problems are caused by the residents, because our culture here in Jamaica needs to change with regards to garbage and how we dispose of solid waste. We as a people need to be more aware of that, and I think there needs to be some more enforcement on the part of NWSMA. They need to go to every business in Negril and let them show them their contract, their garbage contract.
In the meantime, Audley Gordon, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, refuted claims that Negril is filthy, though he acknowledged other pressing issues.
Are there issues with illegal dump site popping up from time to time? Absolutely. And we do planned operations for those. Are there issues with commercial garbage in Negril? Sure. And we work with operators in the space who have not yet signed on to have a registered hauler, or those business operators are encouraged to do so. And we've used our enforcement team to go to each store, each office, each business place, and communicate the best practice to them. So yes, we have been focusing on Negril.
Mayor of Savannah Lamar, Danry Delancey, also mentioned the establishment of a designated area for garbage release station.
Garbage collected from other parts of the parish will be taken there and then compacted or compressed further and then loaded onto a 40-foot container, articulated vehicle, and then carted away to the retirement dump site.
Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
More reactions to the 2025-2026 budget presentation. Former president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Garth Anderson, and former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Elaine Foster Allen, weighed in.
In a letter of the day published Monday, March 24 by the Gleaner, former president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Garth Anderson, wrote that Jamaica stands at a pivotal moment as it engages in the annual budget debate. He noted that it's an opportunity for policymakers and citizens alike to scrutinize the government's plans for funding essential services, including education. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 FM Tuesday, Mr. Anderson said he's concerned.
I have listened keenly so far to the debates taking place in the Parliament, and it is concerning to me at minimum that there has not been much discussions around how we're going to invest in education so that education becomes the driver for national development.
He said while acknowledging that productivity is not where it needs to be, if the government is serious about it, then investment is a must.
We have a host of other priorities without looking really at what is the driver if we are serious about the development of our country or nation.
And former permanent secretary in the Education Ministry, Elaine Foster Allen, also weighed in.
When I look at the education budget and the estimates of expenditure, it's pretty much a flat budget. To be quite honest, we see a little blip in 2023-24, which I think had to do with the salary review and the payment of those increases there. But the estimates for 2024 to 2027-28 is pretty much flat.
It is why they are calling for a framework to drive education.
We have been spending some money on things like infrastructure, but it is a little too late, because when I look at some of the furniture stock and what is happening in some schools, the state of buildings and so on and so forth, we've left some too late. So rather than actually spending on refurbishment, we might end up having to spend on new buildings.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. Over 5,000 new homes will be built in St. James East. That's according to the Member of Parliament for St. James East Central, Edmund Bartlett. He made the announcement while speaking in Grange Pen.
3,200 units are going to be built for workers and for people within this area and the tourism sector. Then, just a little beyond you in Spot Valley, 585 units. That one, the groundbreaking for it has already been determined, and that construction will be done in short order. On top of that, we have Edmund Ridge with 784 units that are almost complete. Where we are now? Phase what? Phase 3? We are at phase 3 of that.
Mr. Bartlett says the private sector is also joining the efforts with plans already in place to build a number of homes.
From where Edmund Ridge is, all the way back to Blyston. This area is going to be the new Montego Bay of the East. On the industrial side now, 2,000 and 1,300, 3,300 new hotel rooms. Currently, 350 will be done by December of this year. You see the construction is almost finished.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
First Heritage Investment says it's embarking on a strategic refreshing of its brand. The company says it will now be focusing on placing renewed emphasis on personalized services, tailor-made portfolio management, technological innovation and integration, as well as global competitiveness. The transitional period will be led by General Manager Omar Green, a seasoned financial sector professional with over 22 years' experience. Further afield, big changes could be coming to Social Security in the United States. The acting SSA commissioner told advocates on Monday that the White House is pushing rapid-fire changes. Those changes generally take 2 years to institute, but the Trump administration wants them done in 2 weeks. As of now, no changes to actual benefits have been announced. However, starting at the end of this month, Social Security will require beneficiaries who can't prove their identities online to visit a field office. Existing beneficiaries who need to change their bank information must also do so in person. Advocates fear this will lead to long lines and inefficiencies at field offices. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Kelisha Williams.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the United National Congress UNC launched its campaign for Trinidad and Tobago's April 20 election, accusing the ruling People's National Movement PNM of mismanaging the country for the past 9 years. UNC leader Kamla Prasad-Bisesa criticized the PNM's performance and presented 18 candidates. This included 3 from the Progressive Empowerment Party, PEP. On the international scene, migrants can now use an app to prove that they have left the US voluntarily. The Department of Homeland Security announced Monday a new feature on Customs and Border Protection's home app that lets them submit travel documents and biographical information. They can also share their location to prove they have left the US. Using the feature is optional, but those who do must also submit images of their face. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Anthony Atkinson, TV News.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.